Like, just those movements.
This is a lot of fun, guys. Okay, all right. So broken, 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 fluid, reverse, broken, broken.
Yeah.
Fluid,
Good.
reverse. Fluid, reverse.
Good. Now, I want you to do it, you know, as if you're doing, not necessarily Tai Chi, but I want you to, your movements are like that of, it reminds me of a karateka. Like,
Yeah.
so I want you to just think of
Super artful guy.
super artful guy.
Super artful guy. Okay,
Super artful guy, like, you know.
Can you give that to the camera a little bit right there? Super artful guy.
Super artful guy.
Yo, this is
we can put whatever song you want to put on. Just doing this, and now you have to do your technique. I do a defend and counter, defend counter, defend counter, defend counter. Right. So all these moves that he's doing, this is in the play. This is not the fight. This is the play. You mind if I borrow one of your blades?
yeah. We take the curse.
Sure.
These are real, buddy. Don't use
No, not that one. Let's pretend that you're COA and you're gonna be like a full qualified instructor.
Okay,
So
that's a lot of pretending.
No, but I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've trained in other arts.
Yeah.
Right. So show me a technique, a disarm technique. Boom. Good.
I guess it'll be this way.
Perfect. Good. Now, so with that, if that's your disarm technique, what other elements can you add to it that would make it uniquely yours, right? Because you got a guy swinging like this, you also got to consider that there's something that's happening in here. So it's not this one technique by itself is the final move.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of sort of layers that you kind of have to figure out. Would this really work in real life if I was to pull this shit off? Starts off with what? This.
Okay.
And then what did you do? You grabbed and you hit me on the head. I got hit. Then what? I started swinging this way. You disarmed and you covered. Then what did you do? Here, and then now you changed the technique. Did you realize that?
Yeah, I think I did. Damn.
Because your technique was you went
I went
this way,
Yeah.
and then somehow your hand was like this, and then you basically did an X move.
Which is just from the movies. Like I don't
Exactly. So now let's do it again. What works? What works? We went here, bang, and boom. Then what?
You come with a punch.
Boom. And what'd you do to finish? That's it. Good. Now that is your one technique.
That's one.
You have to make 24 of those.
Oh
But
my gosh.
in addition to that, you've got to predicate it on. It's not just that. Hey, hey buddy, we're just talking, and then I swing at you, right? So it all starts off with there's an exchange that's happening, and within that exchange, it's like, how do you pull it off? Like here, you've probably seen this in some Filipino martial arts where they go hit high, and then they go hit low, and then they go hit high again. FCS has this.
I've seen this. Yeah.
Yeah. So if
I'm
we just
not
go
great at it, but-
high, low. Now from here, circle it back this way. High, low. So like a half circle. High, low.
I see.
So this is basically your single sinawali in some systems, right? So imagine if we're doing this, and now you have to do your technique. This is like a gak, where you go feed, he does a defend and counter, I do a defend and counter, defend counter, defend counter, defend counter. Right, so all these moves that he's doing, this is in the play. This is not the fight, this is the play. Right? So now imagine in these exchanges is when you're going to do your technique. So for example, if my technique is this, so I'll go here, then I do all my follow-up moves. So in your world where we just went through, so if I can borrow you back here again, right? So if this is the entry of it, and this is from a different system, okay? But the concept of creating your own technique means that from here, you gotta go execute your technique. So what we'll do is your technique, that same one that you've done, we'll put the Salt Bay or GM Bobby flavor to it. Then you can see, oh, okay, so this is how my technique basically moves into the world of, at least this is from, what I've learned from GM Bobby in terms of like how his moves are unique. Because in Filipino martial arts, I do like 4 different systems. So I need to compartmentalize how each one is. Because then if I just mix them all of them, it's kind of like, how can I do justice to what this system does? There's specialties here, these guys are specialties here, so I need to be very distinct with it. So what we'll do is the same move that you've done, which is here, here, and then I went back, boom. See,
I don't even know what this is.
Well, see, does that make sense? You only did that because you originally thought, oh yeah, this makes sense, but then as you process it, you're like, you know what, this is shit.
Yeah.
So change it. So what would make better sense?
Okay,
So I covered. You covered. Now what would you do?
I just want to like
Smack him.
Yeah. Just,
So okay, so
okay. Sorry.
no, you're good. Bang. Now what? Bah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That feels better.
Good. Now, so even as you do that, you can do that and then do your push kick. Whatever you, because guess what? It's yours. Basic. Yeah. Now, hold on. And remember, one heel up. There you go. Yeah. So this is basically our body squared to us, right? Good. And when we go open, good. Good. That's it. See, bladed. Basic. Now we're gonna go closed. It's gonna be a bladed shoulder. Yes. Ready? Close. Yeah. Basic. Open. Basic. Close. Good. All right.
Cool.
That would be the first thing that I would show them.
So that it's how to move.
Yeah, how to move. Because we all start with, okay, everybody go basic. Because once you're here, then I'll teach you down. Once you're here, I'll teach you down. Once you're here, I'll teach you defend. Right? Or defend on the other side. Okay? Does that make sense?
It does, yeah, no, and it's so cool. Like, so I wanted to say one thing. Like,
sure.
So with I actually learned with Archie Luz.
Yeah.
A little
KI.
bit with Illustrisimo, right?
Yes.
So like they always think of these things as pretty much blades. Is it similar in Balintawak?
So, I'll answer that in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
Historically, to my understanding, Balintawak has its blade components. Like, because Jim Bobby, was from the generation, so you have Anshong Bakon, who's like the grandmaster, right? And then he basically had his first line of students, and then the next line of students, and so on and so forth. So from Anshong Bakon's timeline, to my understanding, there is blade involved in it.
Okay.
Right? Now, how things have progressed, or at least from Jim Bobby's presentation of Balintawak as the art, a lot of the moves, if you look through it with a fine-tooth comb, there are some components that are, have some sort of blade to it. What's called defense and counter. So if, let's say, I attack on this side, and this is kind of like training, Mayweather pad work,
Yep.
where I'd go, roll, pop, 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 pop.
Yep.
So that's the same thing where I would go feed him here, and he would go defend and counter, right? And then I would go defend and counter on this side. Good. Now, if this was a blade, what would happen if I go this way and he does his move?
Yeah, you can't do that. You'd lose a finger.
So, technique-wise, a lot of what is sort of taught in Balintawak from Jim Bobby's world that I've experienced are more impact weapon based, right?
So,
Because
so cool.
Now, it doesn't mean that it could not be done that way, because if you look at some of the other grandmasters from before, the grandmasters of modern Arnis, modern world presses, right? He's got Balintawak background, right? And the thing that he does is, if he was to block that, his hand position would be different. So if I can, you mind if I borrow one of your blades?
Yeah, we take the Chris.
Sure.
These are real ones. Don't use
No, not that one. If I was to swing here and he was to block, number one, his blade, he cannot be, if he was holding a blade, it would be blade on blade. You never block sharp edge to sharp edge. Your blocking on a blade system is primarily driven by you're hitting with the spine. If I'm blocking him, I'm hitting with the spine this way. I'm deflecting with the side, or I'm hit the side of his blade this way.
So I know people have questions on it. Like, what are you thinking when you're turning the blade like that?
I've seen it where two guys, blade on blade, they swing at each other. Very bad quality of blades. They go bite into each other, and then they're stuck.
They're stuck.
Versus if I'm a blade guy, I would basically barely deflect and then cut.
And with the side of the blade, that's so cool.
Yeah, so because the thing is, I don't need to stop it. I just need to have something between that blade and my face, right? So when he strikes, so what am I thinking when I'm doing this? If I go blade on blade, that's gonna be dull out my blade, right? The first thing I really need to know, I'm of the opinion of the school of thought where I gotta manage my distance that whatever he does, I can still touch him.
Okay.
Right? But that's for a different topic. Now, if we're looking at basically using this as a deflection or as a counter weapon, right? I want to keep my blade as sharp as I can.
Right.
I'm gonna either deflect with the side or the spine. So I'm blocking this way, cutting that way. If I'm deflecting, I'm just making sure that it's here and just letting it slide. As soon as it slides, then I can go do my counter move. If in the Balintawak world, if I want to do a disarm, right? This is how I would blade it. So the same Balintawak move that we were doing, right? It was like this.
Right.
But now, in the blade world, if the technique is from a blade source, it would be more like this because it's the side of the blade. And then if he was holding a blade, my grip would be more like this.
So you're going for the handle.
I'm going for the spine. So in the other arts, they would have sort of cinco terras, for example, they would have, from here they would have buhot araw, aldabis, saboy, vertical, and saksak. But it's the same moves, but their positioning is different because they come at it from a different perspective. Versus in our world of Balintawak, we use that shadow fighting form. If let's say we're sparring, somebody has to close the gap.
Right.
And guess what? Where do we live in Balintawak? We live here. So I would use that to close the gap and then live here. That's part of that purpose. In Garimot, for example, they would have it here.
So a bit more distance, like
a bit more distance. It's a lot of distance management, a lot of timing management.
Very cool.
Right? So and that's where the different systems are. With those same things, you can choose to step on either way. Now you can choose to go broken this side, broken this side. You can go fluid reverse, or you go fluid and then broken. So now you can mix and match it. So I'll give you 30 seconds. And now think of it as explore. Go.
Okay. Broken, fluid, reverse. Broken, fluid, reverse. Broken, fluid, reverse.
Good.
Broken, fluid, reverse.
Good. Now mix it up. And don't do it in that sequence of broken, fluid, reverse. You can do a bunch of brokens, a little bit of fluid, some reverse. So just do whatever you feel like. Just those movements.
This is a lot of fun, guys. Okay. All right. So broken, fluid, reverse, broken.
Yeah.
Fluid.
Good. Yes.
Fluid, reverse.
Good. Now I want you to do it, as if you're doing, not necessarily Tai Chi, but I want you to. Your movements are like that of. It reminds me of a karateka. So I want you to just think of
Super artful guy.
Super artful guy. Okay.
Super artful guy. Like
Can you give that to the camera a little bit right there? Super artful guy.
Super artful guy.
Yo, this is
we can put whatever song you want to put on. Just now, then it becomes expression. But and the key thing is, I don't care fast. I care more about slow is smooth. Once you figure out smooth becomes fast. So if you just do your, broken, fluid, like.
So
I think
what you're trying to get me to do is like use my whole body? Is that?
That's part of it, and it's just for you to just move. Because right now you feel like I can be so wrong about everything, and I'm like, no, you can be so right about everything. Because when you make mistakes, your quote-unquote mistakes, it's not a mistake. It's like you're realizing, oh, I never knew that I don't know how to use my left hand. But now you know. Now you can have something that you can work towards in terms of making it better, making it smoother. So it's a lot of exploration stuff. Now we go here on this side by the hip. We step on the other side. We go diagonal up, broken. We go fluid. We go reverse. And then I go here, right? I can go here. And then you can go get your elbow in here.
Do a sweep. Yep.
That's so things
fun.
like that. But then now you can like pull your Muay Thai in. Go block. We go grab. Now, when we counter to the face, see how our body's bladed and our heel is up here? We're going to turn and square and do this as we pull.
Okay. So you're using that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Because this is your flavored technique, Balintawak flavored technique. So from here we go counter. Right?
Okay. And then he does a
punch.
A punch.
Like overhand.
Right?
And then from here you just go pull.
So you that's called a strip?
Yeah, basically that's where you strip it. You strip it this way. And then you did a double.
Yeah.
Double down. And then you did a double down.
Yeah.
That was it. But the key is this.
Right.
Okay. See? Okay, now fix up the timing. Fix up the timing. Do it again. Good. Again. Good. Again. Now, once you feel comfortable with that, boom, then we have a counter. Boom. Now, I get hit, I'm all drugged up. Screw you. Right, now from here, stay, not yet. I'm gonna step back. I want you to go whoosh, whoosh.
Okay.
Go. Yeah, that's your finishing move. That's okay. So you go bang, defend, counter, boom. Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah, so
the Tiny Dojo with Culture Toronto. This is Joe Apostol and his student
Ryan.
Joe, where can people find you?
Sure. So if you are interested in Filipino martial arts, we are at different places. Over here in Brampton, we have Ryan, who's a full certified coach or completion of the art student in Balintawak, right? So he's here in Brampton. I teach out in Hamilton and also in Whitby. So we teach a number of different classes. So would love to have you guys come on out. Just hit me up, fma.coach.
Instagram?
Yeah.
I'll link it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll link it.
Yeah, link it in there. And also, our thing is basically called Family Martial Arts. My biggest thing is all about family because when I was training all these 20 years, all my kids were with me going into those seminars with the grandmasters and everything. So that was my main driver for learning the art. It was never about, commercialization or anything. It's just how can I teach my kids? What are the principles that we can learn from it? So hit us up. We'll put the links in there.
So that means adults, kids.
Adults, kids. I teach kids, like some of the kids that I teach, for example, in Hamilton are about 7 years old, some are 5 years old, right? So they're as that young learning Filipino martial arts. And then adults are adults, right? So.
All right, man. Highly recommend. Check it out. Again, this was Tiny Dojo with Culture Toronto. See you next time.